This is 2022 Spirit Halloween. Warning, spoilers ahead. We open up to a car driving down a lone highway on Halloween Day, and all we know is that it's set a long time ago. On a farm, a girl hums a song while she plays with her doll, and Alec tells his driver to keep the car running as they pull up to the house. He approaches the little girl, and it's clear that he isn't too fond of children. With a bark, he scares the girl away, and he steps on her doll as he goes to her mother to give her an eviction notice. She tells Alec that she's not going to let him have the land, but the bank has already said that it's his. He tells her that bulldozers will be there in 48 hours, and he leaves her eviction notice at her feet. Suddenly, the woman starts chanting in a foreign language, and storm clouds gather. Just a wild guess, but I'm pretty sure that this is what a curse looks like. If someone starts yelling at you and storm clouds gather like that, you've gone messed up. Sure enough, Alec doesn't even make it to his car before he drops dead and his spirit floats away from his body. In the present day, Jake, Bo, and Carson ride their bikes through town, and they eventually come to an abandoned factory. Jake is upset that his stepfather Frank still hasn't put up the Halloween decorations, and he admits that he'd do it himself if he wasn't afraid of heights. Eventually, they come to a Spirit Halloween store. Now this is what we're here for. You can clearly see that it's an old Toys R Us store, and if I had to get rid of that store, I'm glad it means more Spirit Halloween stores. As the kids wander through the store, they enjoy all of the animatronics, and they don't notice that some of them are actually watching them. Devin starts talking down to the boys since he's a whole 8 months older than them, and he points out that he's not trick-or-treating this year since he's too old. Jake isn't too happy about this break in tradition, and Devin thinks that they should do something that's actually fun, like go to a high school party. The boys leave the store, and back at Jake's house, his mother Sue is putting up some decorations with Frank and his daughter Joni. Jake is not happy to see some girly decorations, since his dad used to do the scary decorations, and he leaves them to go see Carson. When he gets there, Kate scares the crap out of him. That's the best way to meet your future partner in crime. If they don't scare the crap out of you, they aren't the one. You want someone that knows how to jump scare you out of your pants. Jake helps her with her scary decorations, but after she calls him a kid, he heads in to check on Carson. Jake tries to change Carson's mind about their traditional evening, and he convinces him that he'll come up with a plan that isn't lame. The next day, Jake gets ready with his costume, and Joni comes in to see how he's doing. She tells him that she's sorry that his father died, and soon, Sue comes in to tell him that he can take her trick-or-treating this year. Later that evening, the boys go to the theater to watch a production of The Legend of Alec Windsor, and we can see that the tale of Alec dying is actually a local legend. His body was never found, and his curse lingers over an unknown part of town. When the boys leave the theater, they find Kate talking to a jock from her school, and Jake is definitely a little jealous. Remember when 2 years difference was like the biggest deal? Having a crush on someone that much older than you was the biggest thing. Kate might be out of his league though regardless. Carson tells Jake that he better have a good plan for a creepy Halloween night, and Jake comes up with the idea of locking themselves in the Spirit Halloween store overnight. Bo is against it at first, but eventually they all agree. The next day, Jake confirms the alibi with the guys, and Jake packs a reference book that his dad had left him before he died. Then he heads to Bo's house, and he's surprised by Grandma G on the porch. She warns him that he shouldn't stay out late tonight, and she tells Bo the same thing. Later, the guys head to Spirit Halloween, and inside, the employees shut down the store. After they lock up, the boys pop out from their hiding places, and they get ready for a crazy night. Bo notices a glowing energy ball passing through the door, but he has no idea what he's looking at. They run around playing with all the props, and they watch scary movies on their laptop. Honestly, Spirit Halloween is one of the only stores that I'd love to be locked inside. Would I have a panic attack before morning? Yes. Would it be worth it? Oh yeah. Eventually, they start noticing some of the props moving on their own, and they choose to ignore it while researching the story of Alec Windsor. When they look at pictures in the book, Bo notices that the supposed location of Alec's body is actually really close to here. When Bo decides that it's time to call it a night, they start hearing voices and go to a breaker box to turn on the power. Back at home, Kate is getting ready for a party, and she notices that Carson forgot his phone. After promising her mother that Carson has his phone, she heads out to give it to him. At Spirit Halloween, Carson grabs a plastic scythe as a means of defense, but they end up not needing it since the power kicks back on. How do they not think that it's suspicious of the power to conveniently pop back on like that? Either keep going or leave the store, that's all there is to it. Kate heads to Jake's house to give Carson his phone, but Sue tells her that she thought the boys were at Bo's. When Kate goes to Bo's house, Grandma G tells her that no one's here, and she warns her to go home since it's late. After thinking about it, she pieces together that the boys planned all of this, and after seeing a social media post about the boys being in Spirit Halloween for the night, she heads there. Back at the store, the boys hear the fortune teller start talking, and they decide to ask her some questions. The fortune teller admits that Alec's spirit definitely haunts the land, and suddenly Alec makes his spirit known as he possesses an animatronic. This would be quite a few people's worst nightmare. It'd only be worse for some people if it was a clown instead of a skeleton in a robe. Eventually, they manage to knock the head off the robot, and Alec's spirit floats away from the body. The boys run to the back room where they barricade themselves inside, but outside, Kate arrives to give Carson his phone. At the same time, Sue calls Kate to see if she knows anything about the boy's whereabouts. But Kate covers for the boy still. Once she gets to the store, she climbs to the roof to try and find a different way in, and she manages to pop open a hatch. Meanwhile, Jake tells the guys that he thinks Alec's spirit is the one that's haunting them, and Carson blames Jake for trying to find something stupid to do since trick-or-treating is off the table. When they hear Kate fall into the store, they start to worry about what's outside the office. When they hear Kate's voice, they remove their barricade and creep out into the store. What did I say earlier? If your partner can't scare the crap out of you, they're not the one. After hearing about how Kate broke in, they rush to get out the same way. What they don't know is that Alec's spirit has found a terrifying new form to possess, and they now have a giant teddy bear coming to life to get them. When they see where Kate came in, they send Bo up first to get out, but they suddenly spot the bear coming their way. Alec welcomes Kate to the party, and all of them rush up to help Bo build a ladder out of props. The bear's too close though, but they can't get Bo down before Alec gets to them. The others grab Nerf guns to distract Alec, and somehow it actually works as a distraction for a moment. Just as they run out of bullets, Alec grabs Bo, and it's up to Kate and her sick moves to save him. As they run for the office again, Jake grabs his book of the supernatural, and he tries to figure out a way to stop Alec. As Jake reads the book about how they finish off Alec, the others think that they're as good as dead, but Bo mentions that they should look at blueprints of the store to see if there are any other ways out. Kate finds exactly what they need. Back at Jake's house, Sue feels like something is wrong, and she tells Frank that she's going to go look for them. Back at the store, they find an access door on the blueprints, and Kate finds it under a nearby desk. They head downstairs into an access stairway, and they find that this area is not an exit. When Bo turns on the light, he notices a writing desk with pamphlets for an old orphanage. This is the location of the farm that Alec tried to take. In another section, Kate finds another access way, and they head deeper into the ground. Eventually, Bo comes face to face with Alec Windsor's skeleton, and they realize part of why his soul isn't at rest. What they don't know is that Alec has possessed a nightcrawler now, and he's crawling his way to them. The kids go deeper, and Jake tells Bo that if they make it out of there alive, he's going to shoot his shot with Kate. Wait, why was there a Spirit Halloween in an old Toys R Us which was built on an old orphanage which was connected to an old mine that leads to a house underground? Does this not feel really convoluted? Doesn't matter, I'm digging it. The kids approach the little house, and they find it full of old-timey things. Jake opens a small chest of trinkets, and he finds Alec Windsor's old ID card, alongside witches' instructions for handling Alec's cursed soul. Just then, the wind starts blowing the wind chimes, and Kate spots the nightcrawler outside before slamming the door. Out in the town, Sue heads over to Bo's house, and she finds that none of the boys are there. In the underground house, Bo comes up with the idea of setting the nightcrawler on fire since it's just a prop, but they can't find anything else that'll catch a flame. When the nightcrawler bursts through the ceiling, the kids make a run for it, but Bo ends up tripping. Bo's going places. If he survives this, he's definitely going to college early. He's the only one that seems to pay attention in school, and it definitely shows as his survival skills are second to none. They finally make it back to the store, and they find the rack that led to the ceiling hatch has been toppled over. Alec's spirit remembers why he doesn't like kids, and he swears that this will end tonight. Just then, Sue notices a flash of light coming from the direction of the store, and the kids realize that Alec is only getting stronger. Bo decides that they're going to have to get rid of him once and for all. Jake reads his book, and he finds out that they have to burn 3 things that are important to each of them. And Kate gives him his locket she has from her grandmother. Then they go around the store to grab 3 things that Alec has possessed, but as they go, Alec manages to grab Kate's locket from Jake's pocket. Of course, once they realize that the necklace is gone, Carson tries to just throw Jake out there by saying he should use his dad's picture to sacrifice instead. What's funnier is the fact that Alec's spirit ball is just hanging around above them while listening to the argument. For a dead guy, he sure loves his drama. Carson leaves the group after getting into a fight with Jake, and the others sit to make sure they've got everything. Jake finally agrees to use his picture as a sacrifice, but then Alec causes Kate to knock herself out by falling. Now that she's out, Alec possesses her, and he loves having a brand new body to inhabit. Kate eats Jake's picture, and he snatches Jake's book too. At the same time, Carson comes back to help them, and Sue pulls up in the parking lot. Bo reminds the guys that there's only 10 minutes until midnight, and after that, Alec will forever take over Kate's body. Carson grabs his guitar case that he brought, and we see that he actually has a high-powered dart gun in it. When they go face-to-face with Kate, they find that he's controlling all of the monsters, and they create a distraction so Jake can get to Kate. Who would have thought that these 3 pipsqueaks would be so well equipped to fight off a century-old spirit and his evil horde of animatronics? Jake manages to trap Kate in a snare, and they grab the book of monsters that his dad gave him as a present. Using this as a sacrifice against Alec, Jake reads his dad's message one last time before putting it in the fire. Kate screams in pain, and then Alec leaves Kate's body. Whew, can stop saying Kate now. A little awkward. As his spirit burns in the fire, the barrier on the store disappears, and the whole store goes quiet. Jake takes a moment to check on Kate, and he goes to kiss her. This girl straight up turns him down! You gotta give Jake credit for shooting his shot, but I give him even more credit for how well he took the rejection. I mean, compared to taking on Alec Windsor's ghost, rejection is probably the least of his worries. When the guys get out of the store, they find Sue panicking, and she gives them all rides home. Jake thanks his dad's spirit for watching out for him, and Kate takes a moment to thank him for everything that he's done. So they just leave their bikes there? That's like a kid's Lambo, grab those! They won't be there in the morning. Speaking of morning, the Spirit Halloween employees open the store to find one heck of a mess. 1 year later, Jake asks the guys if they'll trick-or-treat with him, and they respectfully decline. Jake's okay with it though, and he meets Joni in her haunted princess costume to start their own tradition. Frank thanks Jake for being a great big brother, and he tells him that he's proud of him. Then we get a glimpse of the underground house, and Grandma G is performing a ritual there. Grandma G is actually the little girl from the beginning of the movie. Then the credits roll. It's Spirit Halloween, what else can I say? It's the perfect movie in a family-friendly version that I can't say that I didn't hate the cheesiness. It's perfect for what it was, and I want more. Give it a shot. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this one. Comment what you think I should watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.